Hello everyone, my name is Charles Richmond and today I'll be talking about something that's had a big impact on my personal growth and how I work with others, emotional intelligence. This presentation is for Unit 55, Section A, Question 1. Over the next 15 minutes or so I'll be reflecting on how emotional intelligence affects me at work. I'll talk honestly about some of the things I do well, some of the areas I still struggle with and the specific things I've been doing to improve myself. This topic really matters to me because I've seen firsthand how emotions, both mine and others, can make or break a work day. So let's get into it. Firstly, what is emotional intelligence? So what actually is it? At its core, emotional intelligence means being able to recognise and understand not just how we feel, but how other people feel too. And more importantly, knowing how to respond to those emotions in a way that's healthy, thoughtful and respectful. It's about more than just being nice or calm, it's about self-awareness, self-control, empathy and strong social skills. There are 5 main components that make up emotional intelligence, as you can see here. Firstly, self-awareness, knowing how you're feeling in the moment. Self-regulation, being able to manage those emotions so that they don't control you. Empathy, understanding the emotions of others even if they're not spoken. Motivation, using your emotions to guide you towards positive actions. And finally, social skills, communicating clearly, listening well, and resolving conflict smoothly. In the workplace, this shows up in all kinds of ways, whether we're talking to a customer, collaborating on a team, or dealing with a stressful deadline. Emotional intelligence is there in the background, affecting how we think, how we talk, and how we act. When it's missing, things fall apart quickly. When it's strong, the team thrives. My emotional strengths. When I think about my own emotional intelligence, there are definitely a few areas I feel confident in, things I've developed naturally over time or learned through experience. One of my biggest strengths is empathy. I really do make an effort to understand what someone else might be feeling, especially if they're stressed or upset. I don't just jump to conclusions or brush people off. I try to put myself into their shoes and imagine the situation that they're going through. Another strength is that I tend to stay calm under pressure, even when things are going wrong. Like if there's a technical issue or a difficult customer, I don't panic or lash out. I take a breath, try to think clearly and just handle it as best as I can. That's something I've had to practice, but I've definitely improved on. I also think that I'm approachable. People feel like they can talk to me. I make an effort to be friendly, not judge too quickly, and to be someone others feel comfortable around. I think this has helped me build good relationships with co-workers and customers alike. All of these strengths have helped me work effectively in a team and have allowed me to stay professional and respectful even through the tough situations. Harder subject, my emotional weaknesses. So of course no one's perfect and I definitely have areas where I struggle with my emotional intelligence. One of the big ones is avoiding conflict. If there's tension between people or if someone's doing something wrong, I often hold back instead of addressing it. I don't want to step on toes or cause more drama, but by avoiding it sometimes I let things get worse and they couldn't have been handled early on. When they could have been handled earlier on. Another weakness is taking things too personally. If someone snaps at me, even slightly, or if I get criticised, it affects me more than it probably should. Even if I know logically they didn't mean anything by it, I'll replay it in my head and feel hurt or doubt myself. I also tend to overthink small things. I can spiral in my head, going over a conversation or worrying about something that doesn't really matter in the long run. This creates unnecessary stress and distracts me from moving on. I'm aware of these things now, and even just being able to name them has helped a lot, but they're still a work in progress for me. Strategies to improve my emotional intelligence. Knowing your weaknesses is only helpful if you're actually doing something about them. So here are 2 things I've been working on to improve my emotional intelligence, especially in those areas I just talked about. First, I've been learning to talk to someone, usually my manager or team leader when I feel overwhelmed. I used to think that admitting I was stressed or upset was a sign of weakness, but now I see that talking about it is actually a strength. It gives others a chance to support me and often gives me perspective I wouldn't have had on my own. Second, I've started writing things down. I have a small notebook where I jot down what happened in a stressful moment, what I felt and what I think triggered that feeling. This helps me step back and see patterns. I can ask myself questions like, was I overreacting? Was there something I missed? What would I do differently next time? These strategies are helping me respond more thoughtfully instead of just reacting emotionally every time. Another big part of emotional intelligence is being open to feedback. We all have blind spots, things about ourselves that we can't see clearly, or habits we didn't realise that we had. So I've started asking people for feedback, especially after tough situations or important interactions. I'll ask things like, did I come across as calm just now? Was I clear when I explained that? Do you think I handled that issue well? It's not always easy to hear feedback, especially if it's not positive, but I try to remind myself that it's about growth, not judgment. Every bit of honest feedback helps me become a better communicator and a better teammate, and a more emotionally aware person overall. So that brings an end to my presentation. To sum up, emotional intelligence isn't just something you have or don't have, it's something you can build. And for me, it's something I'm still building every day. I've got some strengths like empathy and staying calm, but I'm also working on areas like avoiding conflict and overthinking. With tools like journaling, asking for feedback and speaking up when I'm stressed, I feel like I'm on the right track. I'd love to hear from you as well. What did you think I did well in this talk? Do you have any suggestions for how I could get even better at handling emotions at work? Finally, thank you all so much for listening and being open to conversation about something that I think is really important for all of us, no matter what kind of job we do. Thank you all for your time.